So I imagine you were intubated, and so how long were you sedated? Were you under?
Uh, Total in the ICU on life support was about 5 weeks. The sedation would vary day to day. So it was very much a day to day or even hour to hour kind of situation where um, it depended on how I was doing, what the blood tests, and they were drawing blood every 6 hours. My arm at one point was totally bruised up because of all the draws.
Hmm.
Um, and yeah, they would vary the level of sedation. Apparently, they told my wife that the medications would affect people differently. For some, it made them very, very calm, very docile. For others, it made them paranoid. And I was in the second category. So it led to some situations where, I mean, we might talk more about it later, but as far as what I recall from that time, it's more in the form of dreams, really weird dreams, which I imagine is just my brain trying to process what was going on. But uh, they had to restrain me at certain points so I wouldn't pull out my tubes and stuff, which I did at certain points. But yeah, to answer your question, about 5 weeks all told.
Well, that kind of answers the next question: is what kind of emotions, what thoughts were going through your mind at this time? I just remember back to when I was going through the bacterial meningitis, and I was in the hospital, and the wild dreams I was having because I'd lost my uh, vestibular balance, my inner ear balance. Every time I fell asleep, it just felt like I was falling. So I'd have these dreams of falling and wake up leaping out of the bed. Uh, for you, not only were you the paranoia, it must have been feeding other emotions as well, or exacerbating. You're the provider, the protector, of course, the strong one in many different ways. And here you are. It must have been pretty. It must have felt pretty helpless. What was going through your mind?
I mean, you nailed it. One, as far as the paranoia exacerbating things with, with my dreams. Well, actually, before I was actually fully sedated, I was still, I guess, semi sedated, or at least it was the delirium from the disease. But my mom and my wife were both in the hospital with me. And it's funny now, but at the time I was very concerned that there was some sort of patient abuse going on, uh, just probably because of the paranoia. And I wanted to make sure that my wife was who she said she was. So, I could hear her voice. I couldn't see her very well for whatever reason. This did affect my vision.
Hmm.
Um, I have a pre-existing eye condition, uh, which is genetic, but this also made my vision significantly dimmer and more affected at the worst of it. So anyway, the funny bit is because this happened after Christmas, my wife and I were sitting down to watch a Christmas movie, and we pulled one up from like Amazon Prime or something, and it was called Holiday in Handcuffs. It was atrocious, Aaron. It was the worst holiday movie I've ever seen. I couldn't get through more than 15 minutes. Um, so that was my like two-factor authentication for my wife, where I was like, "What was the name of the movie that we started to watch?" But it was just really bad. Um, so anyway,
That was the call sign, the password for trust.
exactly, exactly. She
What's the
passed.
what's the worst movie ever for Christmas? All right, you pass.
Yeah. So that was one. And as far as what I remember and what was going through my mind, I had dreams of like being stolen and taken away to like a circus is what it was represented or how it was represented in my mind. But being kidnapped and put in the back of a truck and driven away, uh, I, looking back on it now, quite confident it was a result of the paranoia and being restrained. I remember a different dream of being in like the the not the galley, but like the brig, like where they hold prisoners and pirate ships, uh, and there being other prisoners, and I had to lead them out. And how we did that was ripping out our tubes, the NG tube, and I actually did that while I was dreaming, and the nurse was none too happy. Uh, so all sorts of weird things like that, and then as far as the protector bit, glad you said it because I know you've got young boys at home. I've got 3 young girls, and when I was cognizant enough, um, especially on the other side of the of sedation in the ICU, to understand what was all happening to me, I was worried for them more than anything, where I didn't know how they were gonna get by. Uh, you know, I wanted to make sure we had enough income coming in. It was all just the world was crashing down around us, and you know, my wife and girls showed me what they're made of, and they are made of tough stuff. But it weighed on me pretty heavy.
How were your wife and your kids dealing with this?
So my wife, especially the night that they put me on life support, uh, it hit her really hard. She'll tell you, you know, she was made a single parent, you know, and just had to make do. And she had a really hard time, especially that first night where I was put on life support. I'm really grateful that one of the nurses, I think she was the charge nurse in the ICU, you could tell she'd been at it a while. She sat my wife down and told Ashley is my wife's name. Told Ashley like, "Hey, look, you can't be alone tonight. Call someone." And Ashley was gonna say, "No, I'll be okay," because it was 2 or 3 in the morning, and the nurse was insistent, like, "No, call someone." And Ashley and I are both glad that she did. She called my parents, and God bless my parents. They came running from, you know, they live in about an hour away, but they dropped it all and came over. And my kids surprised me. Uh, one of my daughters, we started with twins, so Mary Claire is very logical sometimes. So because of the chemotherapy, you know, I've got a full beard, but the chemo made all my hair fall out. So no beard, no eyebrows, only a couple eyelashes hanging on. And Ashley was telling my girls, so you know, Daddy's beard uh, fell out, and Mary Claire just asked, "But where did it go?" And Ashley clarified, "It just fell out. It wasn't good enough." No, no. Where did it go? Mary Claire needed an explanation of the logistics. Where's the supply chain of this beard? Um, but when they came for visits, we planned it. There's a great organization at the hospital that tried to make the ICU a whole lot less scary and planned activities for them. Um, it was still a lot for Mary Claire and for my youngest, but my other twin, Ellie, she was the first one who was comfortable enough to come see me, and I looked so different, Aaron. Like not only with the hair loss, but also you can imagine losing 40 pounds. I looked skeletal and just not like the daddy that she was familiar with. So it took her a few minutes, but she came over. She held my hand. I lost it. I just started sobbing. But through the whole experience, it was hard for all of them. They just showed me that they were surprisingly strong, which I'm proud to say.
Did she know the password?
She didn't know the password, but I went easy on her.